Hepiniz tekrar hoş geldiniz. Everybody welcome. So this is our new guest, second guest, and let me introduce Mr. Albert Schaffer. Albert Schaffer is from Netherlands. And actually I would say designer, but not just designer. He was talking about what in the left side of the school. He's not just a designer. He has worked many subjects on design for his nearly 40 years of experience. So we just had a quick talk with him that he has designed furniture, design objects, carpets, drawings, art pieces, and lately fashion and fabrics, I guess. So I had a quick search on internet about his works, and actually all of his works reminded me that he is after search of something. But I have some guesses, but we will let him tell what he's searching for, and does he hope he will find it soon or not. This today his presentation and our talks about his actually approach on design and his unique own methodology, his understanding of design. So I think it was about how to think differently in design thinking, because we all, as designers, we all have to need to be different, be original. So in order to be unique, that's what makes designers different from others. But there are many ways of being different. But they Starwood tell about this approach, about how to think and how to be different. It's your turn, please. You have your own stage.
So by thinking differently, I think I do it differently. I come down to it. It's easier, closer to you. So first a little bit about me. I started as an interior architect. I worked with interior design, drawing, walls, upholstery, all kind of things. And my passion was music. So I fell in love for antique, and for 30 years I spent my life mostly with restoring 17th century antique and everything what was around there and stylish. But what I missed there was the perfection. I can do it only once, and after once I never get a chance to start restoring something again, because then I had another object and new problems. So I thought maybe I can find a number factor in wooden flooring. And the knowledge from working with antiques, I translate into antique flooring. And I was the founder of Antique Flooring, Chapelle Paquet, original Chapelle Paquet, now founded in 60 countries, very big company. And it was a pleasure to do that, but also after the period, for me, that was not the goal. We had a turnover of 64 million euros per year after 5 years from starting till that point, but it was not bringing me any joy. And from that moment, I thought I want to do it differently, and I get a backpack, I go to Berlin, and I start to become more an artist. And since then, my life is far more beautiful. I'm not rich, but I'm very happy. And basically, it's so, a famous artist in Holland says, ideas blow in your mind, but the problem is you have to do something with it. The moment that comes in your mind, you can't stop before it's finished. And all kinds of things are happening. So people are talking to me and calling things, and then I have to do it. So I'm basically following up the response, what is happening in my life. So with the flooring was a lot to do. And I was searching for the purity of wood. Why was old wood so much nicer than fresh wood? Because it has age, it has history, it has become better. Because time makes things better. And that was what distressed flooring came to a real question, and it's still not over. I'm still searching for that, what can be done better, what brings the naturality. Basically, I know that the nature is showing. Nature is showing everything, what can be done, what can be weathered, or what can be more beautiful. And if I take a piece of wood out of the sea, out of the ocean, and I look at it, why it has become so beautiful. Because that's the nature, oxidation. And that is all the basic of my work. All the things I do are based on natural treatment, belief that natural can be better. For example, when I start with distressed flooring, the biggest problem was the finishing. Because if I finish a product and after 5 years has to be refinished because it is worn out, then I lose all the effects I have brought carefully into the product. So very simple solutions are giving the effect. Kiesel acid. Kiesel acid is glazure, is glass water. If I add glass water into wax and oil, hard wax, then it starts floating and makes it stronger, 20,000 times stronger. So nature is doing better. And that proves, I started in 1995 with that. And floors from then are still now more beautiful than they were when they were installed originally. So basically, I'm daily improved by learning that the nature knows best. Turpentine, for example. Turpentine synthetic or turpentine natural, like the painters use for painting pictures. Natural is better. It dries quicker. It is better for health. It gives a far more stronger effect. And basically the drying is a very important issue because we have a problem. A problem that we produce a product, it has to dry. Producers say it has to dry, it has to be quick. Okay, we get UV drying, but it has nothing to do with quality. It's just a simple way to make it quicker drying, but not a better result. And if I use a natural turpentine, it will dry quicker and become a better quality in one go. So that is proving, and all the times I find out that why we have now rusted iron as height. We have bridges in Holland, everywhere I see it. It's rusted material, it's now finished. Aluminium, you know already. Aluminium is just oxidated. Basically, iron is also oxidated. Why not with wood? Okay, I question myself, I start searching, and after searching, thankfully, I find out that the simple treatment of water and a little bit soap makes finishing what I prove in the carpets that are here. They are fully sustainable, they are very strong e-use, you can put wine over it, you can clean it or coffee or whatever, and it's just only polished water. How simple it can be. Less is more. That is basically the idea behind all these things. Example is if you look there, a real and teak flooring on the left. That is an old beam, cut off parts, making parts, that's beautiful. But very expensive and very limited in amounts. Because we have only 100 square meters and we need 300 meters. So if we follow that line, can we do it differently? Of course we can do it differently. So if we make a connection with iron and water, we get color. We call it stains, but if I control the process, I get a really nice finished product. The left side, the right side was strips that were just plain strips. They are used between the boards in the drying chamber. A beautiful effect. Why waste it? Why send it? Basically, it's so, and I believe in that every product that I send, my car, my glasses, the iron, I damage. So I don't believe in sending. Why are we sending? Because we have wood, we have holes, we have to fill it, we have to send it. But every producer said so. Why not think differently? And fill differently. And make it simpler. And we don't have to send. So I'm now so far that we will take a full fresh tree, 80% moisture, cut a beam out of that, cook that, and after 36 hours we cut it with a water beam into slices. These thin slices have no treatment with tools, sandpaper or anything. If I polish that, I get the most beautiful surface. If you look at the carpet with the big blocks, that's just cut by wood and polished with water and further nothing. Feel it, taste it, get it into your system, because that is what it is about. So stairs, mostly all ideas for what can we do with rest material, leftover material. And of course, on my route of finding new ways, I find a lot of problems. Because I designed a perfect, mostly lovely product. I start a factory, I'm very enthusiastic. But I have to fill the gaps with the ground, stone ground. And the wood people from the blocks, the cut blocks, don't understand the stone. And the stone people don't understand the wooden blocks. So after 3 years, I have to stop the factory because I have a lot of blocks, nobody wants to buy it. I make beautiful bathrooms, but nobody understands. Which blocks I start making mostly carpets. So a lovely new product, and basically it's only a cut block. It's burned, it is polished, it is only treated with water, and we can walk on it. How beautiful it can be. Of course, after that we start thinking, can it be different? Can I make the blocks bigger? Can I make other shapes? And somebody shouts to me, cracked earth. You'll see in the middle the basic of cracked earth, the lines of cracked earth. So basically it's a net sock, what you can use. You'll see the floor underneath. It's soft because you can walk over it. But it is so beautiful to see these lines and the structure. And the big questions I have, how to make it, how to connect the pieces of leather. I use leather there. How big can be the holes that we don't stumble, we don't have accidents. That's just starting doing it. I make it, I put it in a hallway, I let run 1,000 people over it, I look at it. If they stumble, I have to go back to the drawing table. If they don't stumble, I succeed. I succeed. It was a very nice product. Yeah, the yin-yang shape is just, for me, I have to make it. How does it look? It's wall, floor, whatever you want. Crocodiles, just natural structure. You see in crocodile. I use old, used leather from bags, thrown away, and made a crocodile out of it. It's like the deer what Elko is doing. It's in your head, I have to make it. I'm not ready before I have made a crocodile. And after this crocodile, I question myself, can I make it in wood? Of course I can make it in wood. I have the shape, I have the experience, I start making it in wood. I have no idea what to do with it, but it is the root. It is the way of going to come with ideas. I do 100 things, and one of these things are brilliant. People find it brilliant. Or it's a success, like my distressed story. And I can become very, very rich with it. But I have to do these 99 other things as well to find this one thing. That is the most important thing. Just follow your heart, follow your instinct, and trust your first belief. I cannot say enough Any idea what blows into your mind, follow it. If you have to question yourself, which ones of the dresses I like best, your first impression, that's the one. And if you want to have that feeling again, wake up the next morning, go downstairs, look at them, I love that one the most. That's the way you have to do it. Very important. Follow your instinct and follow your own ideas. So then things happen. I was calling myself as artist a couturier in wood, haute couture. Haute means in Dutch wood. So the fun we had in Holland, haute couture is wood couture. So I used that and I was making unique flooring, unique products. And then people came to me and say, can you make fashion? You're a couturier, can you make fashion? Of course I can make fashion. Can you make fashion in wood? Of course I can make fashion in wood. So I started. In 14 days I made 8 pieces. I will put them on the catwalk. I won directly in prize, and I was into fashion. I never want to be in fashion. But designing is about everything. It doesn't matter if I design shoes, or tables, or floors, or clothes. Size is also, you just measure. How big is a woman? You measure, you have the sizes. Chairs are exactly the same. And further it's about idea, how to connect. How can I make it wearable? So that was the way this was existing. Fun, also for me. And then the question, can you do more? Of course, but I don't want to make regular things. So what do I do if I start on a new idea? I get an idea, I want to do something with seaweed. Because we have a show with Eco, they want to have an eco dress. I think seaweed, why? That's the products I want to use. So I go on the internet, I search, I see all kinds of products. Because everything is done, everything is there, but not my variation. So I go to the sushi material. This is where the sushi is made from. And I start thinking, how can I do it? So I made it into a product. And now we have a lovely dress, and end of this month in Egypt, the crown will be given to Miss Eco World, and she's wearing my dress, and this is just an example of what I made to show you what you can feel. And come by and feel it. And then it becomes very interesting. Because the interesting part is that if you start using these kinds of materials, you experience that it is stronger, it's better, it's very good for the strength, the color, because it's grown on such terrible conditions in salty water. So what grows there has to become very, very, very strong to be useful. So that's the same with leather. So for this Miss Eco, I had the idea of fishnet. And I was thinking, how can I make fishnet? So I had a piece of old leather, and I couldn't use it for anything. I started making wires from it with a scissor, and I started thinking, how can I do it? And everybody was talking about how to make the shape of the breast. That's the most difficult part, how to make it. So I started waving it over the doll, and you'll see the result. And I have to make a fishnet, and I want to make a fishnet, and I just start knotting a fishnet. And after that, of course, I was questioning myself, can I do it better? So, yes, can I do it better? With a lining inside that you don't look through, all the ideas are coming. So, the same question was, I have to make for Valentine's Day a wedding dress, a white wedding dress. And I was thinking, white material, natural material white. It's not possible because leather is not white. Non-material in nature is really white. And a girlfriend of me shouted, sheep. Sheep? Yes, sheep. It was working. This is not white, but imagine a white sheep. And I just cut wires from sheep field with hair. and this became a total new line of thinking. And of course, there's a connection, because this is also a kind of fishnet. Because developing is by going on and thinking, can I use this technique that I have learned again, and can I do it differently? For example, here, a cotton wire and shoe, leather. This was so hard, this was so difficult to use, and I made it into a dress wearable, and it has proven that it can be used that way. You'll see here my beauties of the first show, this Afra Fashion Week, and I showed 8 dresses in wood. You see the difference. Because if I make something, I don't want to make it again. I'm just searching. And that was what he was saying to me. Will I ever find it? Probably not. Is that important? Probably not. Will I stop at work? Probably not. Yeah? I'm now 40 years busy, and I will continue with this until I die, because there will never be the moment that nothing is coming into my head. So I have to make things. And the moment I find somebody, met somebody, or they pass me and they say, Albert, do you have an idea? Instantly I have an idea. And that is what design is about. And not questioning yourself, is it useful? Is it producible? You will find it on the road which you go. And that makes money. And out of all these products comes new ideas what have their use in making other fields. It's not so important. Design it is about design it, using, and somebody will pick out this one big piece of you, one piece, what they will say is brilliant. I cannot judge my work after I made it. I make it, I love it, it's my baby, but I can't judge it. After a few days, I get some distance, not bad. But I'm already busy with something else. That's what design is about. Leave yourself, do it, go to the end, the day never stops. Just do it. That is the most important. Okay? Wall art was also one of the items. So I get an idea, I want to have a gallery because I want to show people different ways of thinking. It was crisis in Holland, it was nothing to do, it was not really work, not really order. So I started to make free work. And free work I want to make differently, not in cotton, not with paint, but I use leather. Why I use leather? Because I just got a pile of leather left over from somebody, he get bankrupt, they can you use it? Well, I can use it. And I was searching for all kinds of things. Metallizing, I found that if I put fine stone mill on leather, and I go over it with an iron, then I get metal on. Then I find out that if I heated it, so I use an iron for clothes, that the higher temperature I get a warmer color. So I start painting with it. And of course, it is all a process. And during this process, I find now a very nice technique to very simple metallize other materials by just going over it, and it will leave the marks after. Reflection, this leaf is with aluminium behind it, and then cutting, it's about reflection. Always I have an idea. So I was doing a makeover for a fashion shop, and everything was okay there, but there was a cow there. And 10 years they have walked over this cow, they said this cow has to leave. But there was a desktop from glass, and I hate it when you touch material and it feels cold. I would put this cow on top of this counter. Okay, so I get a knife, I cut it on, I made it, and I had leftovers. Of course, I don't throw them away. I put it in my car, and tonight I came at home and said, can I do something with it? Of course, I can do something with it. These are the cut-offs. And all the problems are there because I don't want to use a zipper. Because zippers are not allowed for me because I don't want to follow existing products. I don't want to have nuts. So come and have a look how it is. I want to make it together. I put packing rope. Packing rope was the material.
I have some signs getting out.
Okay, I follow. So the one thing I want to give you today is believe in yourself, think differently, and make beautiful things. I wish you a very good life. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. That was very
You're welcome.
And one good thing that I saw and felt is the nature. You're after the nature. You know, because yes, we're producing everything. We're trying to find new materials, new techniques to convert those new materials to other materials. But actually, we are in the nature. We are part of nature. That's what we're, kind of forgetting. So it's very good that you approach. And one more thing, designers are actually uncomfortable people. Everything uncomforts us, and doing nothing uncomforts us. So trying to find new things, new techniques, new ways of doing something is very hard, very difficult. And thank you for that. You chose a difficult way. Thank you for that. Your approach about nature, being again a part of nature as human beings.
Very nice to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.